One Game of Thrones theory that the HBO show skirted around could be confirmed in George R.R. Martin's book The Winds of Winter. The wait for the sixth A Song of Ice and Fire book goes on, with 13 years having passed since the last, A Dance with Dragons, was released. There have been several The Winds of Winter updates from Martin in that time, but the novel seemingly remains a long way off. In its absence, what hopeful readers have to go on for what will happen next, besides the events of Game of Thrones, are theories. Even after Game of Thrones ending, there are several theories that remain in play due to the differences between the two properties. Some, like R+L=J, that Jon Snow is the son of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark, were confirmed in the show, but many others are still plausible. Among them is one particularly grim, yet darkly interesting, theory about Jojen Reed, Bran Stark, and the Three-Eyed Raven. It's one Game of Thrones avoided, but the book could, arguably should, and quite possibly will confirm. The Jojen paste theory in A Song of Ice and Fire explained. The story of Bran Stark traveling with Jojen and Meera Reed is broadly similar in A Song of Ice and Fire and Game of Thrones, until around the end of Season 4 of the show. There, Jojen is killed by Whites helping Bran reach the cave of the Three-Eyed Raven, but no such death happens in the books. Instead, Jojen makes it to the cave with Meera, but is then notably absent when things start to take an even weirder turn, which leads to the theory known as Jojen paste, that covers a few key points. Jojen paste is a name that is disturbingly literal, that Jojen Reed was killed and used to make a paste that Bran Stark ate. In Bran's final chapter in A Dance with Dragons, the children of the forest give him a paste made of weirwood tree seeds that is designed to further unlock and boost his green seer abilities. As Bran notes, though, there could be more to it than just being made from the tree. That itself doesn't confirm anything, but does come at a point when Jojen has increasingly not been himself, isn't present to Bran, and has long seemed accepting of his fate. By this point, Jojen has made references to knowing when he dies, and clearly believes Bran's life is far more important than his own. When they reach the cave, he even says his part in this is done. Meanwhile, the children of the forest, though presented as being on the side of the good, are largely mysterious and their true motives unknown. Game of Thrones showed the children of the forest created the White Walkers, which could also be book canon. Even if not, there's no sign they can be trusted 100%. It's plausible that they either murdered Jojen, or he willingly allowed himself to be sacrificed, in order to help awaken Bran's own gifts. The children of the forest are connected to the old gods, and there's evidence of blood sacrifice and blood magic being used to serve them. This includes a vision Bran has after eating the paste, wherein he sees flashes of someone being sacrificed at the weirwood tree in Winterfell's Godswood, his blood flowing on it. It's a vision that, tellingly, ends with, Brandon Stark could taste the blood. Bran having to eat his friend is alluded to earlier in A Dance with Dragons, in reference to the Elk of Cold Hands. In that case, it finds Bran thinking, he had told himself he would not eat, that it would be better to go hungry than feast upon a friend, but in the end he'd eaten twice, once in his own skin and once in Summer's. Martin loves foreshadowing and, combined with the other evidence, this could well be a dark instance of that. Why the Winds of Winter may confirm the Jojen paste theory. Thomas Brodie Sangster as Jojen Reed in Game of Thrones Season 4 Episode 10. Though it didn't happen in Game of Thrones, there is reason to believe the Winds of Winter will confirm the theory about Jojen paste. Jojen's part in the story certainly seems to be over, he himself believes as much, his green dreams have served their purpose in finding Bran and helping him to the Three-Eyed Crow, and his death in the TV show suggests he isn't integral to the plot going forward. With that, him dying in some way makes a lot of sense, making the theory very plausible despite the gross fact that it's, well, arguing Bran ate the blood of his friend.